Hey guys, Steven here from Radolescence with another fragrance review. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Welcome back. This time I'm very happy to be doing a review on my third Bond No. 9 fragrance, third one I've reviewed on my channel. This one is called Coney Island. Here's the bottle. This fragrance was released in 2007 and the perfumer for this fragrance is, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Michel Almerac. Michel Almerac has done many other Bond No. 9 fragrances. He has done Fire Island. I think he's done like 6 or 7 Bond No. 9 fragrances, and maybe some other ones that he hasn't formally received credit for. He has done a few fragrances on the designer side of the fragrance industry as well. He has done some discontinued favorites like Gucci Pour Homme 1 by Gucci. He's also done Escada Magnetism for Men. And of course Bond No. 9 is a house that makes fragrances that are supposed to resemble different parts of New York. So we have New Harlem, which is supposed to represent the city of Harlem. We have Chinatown, which is supposed to represent that district, sort of. And then we also have fragrances like Fire Island, Shelter Island, which I think is one of the newer ones. And then we also have Coney Island. Now, Bond No. 9 gets its name from its location. It's located on 9 Bond Street in Manhattan. I believe at one point, when they first opened up, Bond No. 9 fragrances, I believe, were only available at the Bond No. 9 boutique. Since then, their popularity has increased, their accessibility and availability has increased, and now you can even find Bond No. 9 fragrances at certain Sephoras. That's where I bought my I Love New York for mothers. So since then, they've gotten much more accessible and more available to the crowd and the masses. So with this one, Coney Island, it's supposed to smell like being on Coney Island. So you think being in the water, being in the ocean, being on the pier, maybe eating saltwater taffy, maybe you have a drink in your hand. And Michel Almerac, who also did Fire Island from the same house, I think he did an excellent job with that one, evoking feelings of being on the beach and wearing suntan lotion with kind of like that coconutty vibe. And I'm gonna let you guys know if I think he also knocked it out of the park with this one. But next up, let's take a look at the presentation for Coney Island. Here's the box for Bond No. 9's Coney Island. You have this very nice bluish turquoise color to it with some gold accents. You have this little spirograph pattern on the front here, the name of the company down here at the bottom right, and then you have this plastic sleeve that just comes off, and it allows you to open the box, and it exposes a silhouette of the box cut out in the cardboard of the inside, and it also gives you some information on the house here. And that I believe it's a postcard. You fill it out, you send it back to Bond, and then occasionally they'll send you newsletters or even fragrance samples. Recently I got this from them from signing up. This is the centerpiece for him, so make sure you fill those out if you get it, because you might actually get decants like this in the mail. It's actually pretty cool. It's the first one I've received, but hopefully it's not the last. And here's the bottle. Really nice looking bottle. I like the color. I like the color combination. Again, same cap from all Bond No. 9 bottles. It just comes off, clicks into place. I like the turquoise color on the bottle. The distribution is pretty good. It doesn't spray out too much juice, so I guess you can afford to over apply, except with Coney Island I probably wouldn't do much. I'm about to tell you why, but that has pretty much been the presentation for Coney Island. Okay, so the notes for Coney Island, in the top we have melon and guava, or some kind of like a melon accord going on there. We have tequila, and then we also have lime. In the mid we have cinnamon, dark chocolate, and caramel, and then in the base, if I remember correctly, it's cedarwood, sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. Now, I feel like I need to throw this out as a disclaimer, and this needs to be one of the first things that I mention, is that if you're not a fan of salty smelling fragrances, you will absolutely hate Coney Island. Please keep that in the back of your mind, or if it's a polarizing note to you, sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't, definitely make sure to sample this fragrance before you buy it. Do not blind buy it, because it does have a very strong salt note. Now, I don't know what it is, because salt is not listed as a note in this fragrance. They do have the note of tequila. Tequila is an ingredient in margaritas. Margaritas have a salted rim. So maybe that is where the salt is coming from, but still, the only note that they do mention in the formal note breakdown, to my knowledge, at least on Fragrantica.com, is tequila. So I think that with Coney Island, it's supposed to evoke images of being on the beach, perhaps being on the pier, eating saltwater taffy, maybe smelling like a salty sea breeze by the ocean, or having a drink in hand, and just enjoying yourself and enjoying the summer on the beach in Coney Island. So I feel like as far as that goes, it does sort of evoke those feelings, and it is a unique fragrance in that regard. However, I do think that the salt note is actually just a little bit too strong, and for that reason, I would be very selective when I wear this fragrance in public. You really got to pick and choose when and where you're going to wear this fragrance. Even though it's appropriate for the summer months, I probably wouldn't wear it everywhere in the summer. To give you an example, just the other day I was with my girlfriend and her niece and nephew, and we were going to the beach. So I walked into the house because I forgot to get my towel. So I got my towel in my swimming trunks, and then I put on a few sprays of Coney Island. I get back in the car, and then my girlfriend's niece says, "Did you just put on cologne?" And I said, "Yeah, I did. Why? Do you like it?" She goes, "It kind of smells like the beach." So right away, she got that salty feeling to it too. So I would probably wear this maybe to a park. I would wear it to the beach. If you're going near the lake, if you're going to be outdoors somewhere, I probably wouldn't wear it, you know, going to a supermarket or being at like an indoor event or something like that. So even though it's appropriate for this season, I would still be pretty selective about it. However, for those of you who may have some apprehensions about the smell, allow me to alleviate some of those by saying that although this fragrance does smell salty, it doesn't necessarily smell fishy. There's another fragrance by Healy called Sel Marin. This one does have a very strong salt note as well, but it also has some like seaweed notes to it or something. It actually smells very aquatic. It's like a very true aquatic feel to it. It smells like you're, you know, out in the middle of the ocean and you're fishing. So this has somewhat of a fishy smell to people. You don't need to worry about that with Coney Island. Just a salt note. And actually, this is one of the few fragrances that my girlfriend says gives her a headache. So keep that in mind. Now, one of the good things is that it opens up with a freshness to it. So even though there is a salt, it is counterparted by this lime note. To me, it smells a little bit more like lemon. So you get that combination in the opening, but then the salt note doesn't linger for the entire longevity of the fragrance. It actually goes away and starts to disappear after about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if you do apply this at home and you step out of the house, you know, an hour or two later, I think you'll be in the clear and you can wear it to a number of more, you know, occasions or, you know, locations than you would be able to when you first apply it. I think that the secondary note in this fragrance is the note of melon. So you get salt, a kind of like a boozy feel to it, and then you also have melon. Now whether it's honeydew or guava, or I can't really tell, it just smells like a melon accord. And I think for that reason, and also for the reason that it contains musk in the dry down, it kind of reminds me of Adam Levine's fragrance, Adam Levine for Men. Both of them have like this melon feel to it with a little bit of musk in the dry down. And I think that the tertiary note, or the third accord that you kind of get most strongly in this fragrance, is like a woodsy dry down with a little bit of sweetness to it. Now I know dark chocolate is listed as a note. I don't get any dark chocolate or caramel or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily smell gourmand or edible or confectionery, but in the dry down it does have somewhat of like a vanillic smell to it, but I do think that the salt and the melon and even sometimes the woods dominate in this fragrance more than the other notes do. So a closer comparison, rather than Adam Levine for Men, would actually be a fragrance by Calvin Klein called CK1 Summer 2014. I've actually done a review on this fragrance too. This, I'm sure you'll be able to find in the bargain bins very soon. This has a very similar feel to Coney Island. So if you're not willing to pay the very high retail price tag for Coney Island, I would highly recommend you check out CK1 Summer 2014, and I think it'll satisfy the same purposes just as well, if not better, if value is important to you. So in terms of compliments or complaints, it all depends on how much you apply and how long you wait until you go out in public, but it is a pleasant smell, and when you think of being on the beach, it's just positive thoughts, unless you got a sunburn or something. But for the most part, it's going to evoke positive images. So I can see this, you know, giving somebody, getting a compliment from it when you're wearing it. But I would just be selective about when to wear it. So thanks for watching. Last up, we have the rating. So first up we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I'm going to have to give Coney Island an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 because despite the fact that it's not necessarily the most wearable fragrance and it does have that polarizing aspect to it, I think as far as the execution of the concept is concerned, they did a very good job. Michelle Almerac did an excellent job, and I do think that it's a unique scent. Now, I did say it smells a lot like CK1 Summer 2014. Of course, this one came out first, it preceded it, so all the creativity and the creative and aesthetic merit should go to this fragrance. So for that reason, I do think it's unique. It has a very different smell, and it really does stand out in my collection. Both the bottle, the looks, the presentation, and the smell, it really does stand out. Next up we have longevity. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It does last 6 to 7 hours on my skin, which is, I guess, in the average range for Eau de Parfum, so it does pretty average on my skin. Projection is pretty much the same thing. It'll project for the first 2.5 to 3 hours, especially while that salt note is still lingering. I don't know what it is, but something about the smell of salt is just very perceivable by people. My girlfriend notices it. Like I said, our niece noticed it. A lot of other people have noticed it. So in the dry down, it doesn't become as noticeable. So the projection on this one is actually pretty good too. I would give it a 7 out of 10. As far as the versatility goes, this is where I give it a 6 out of 10. Now, despite the fact that this is a pretty versatile fragrance because it doesn't smell overly offensive, I think even though it's only appropriate in like the spring and summer, I would still be selective about when to wear it. Like, I wouldn't wear it in a suit and tie. I wouldn't wear it formally, and I probably wouldn't wear it on a night out either. I would want something that smells a little bit cleaner. You know, I mean, it smells like you just got out of the water and you need to be rinsed off, so I probably wouldn't wear it on a night out, but I would definitely wear it casually. But even then, I wouldn't wear it everywhere casually. Of course, this is not going to do well in the colder seasons. I really don't think it will. I think this is a perfectly unisex fragrance, and I can see this one being a very youthful fragrance, so I would probably say you can wear this if you're a teenager, and I would probably go as high up as maybe someone in their 40s. Probably wouldn't exceed that. So I would give it a 6 out of 10 for versatility. And then last up we have presentation. Of course, with Bond number 9 fragrances, I do rate them depending on how the bottle looks, because they all do differ from each other, despite the fact that they have the same iconic star shape, but they all have a different, you know, color or logo to them. I think this one is rather simple, but as far as the concept that they were trying to execute goes, I think it's very appropriate. I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10 for presentation, and overall, I'm going to give this fragrance a rating of 7 out of 10. Now, I really do like this fragrance. This is one of my summer staples. I have had this in my collection for a while. I've worn it on a number of occasions. It really is a spirit enhancer, a mood lifter, and I think it is a pick-me-up, and it makes me happy when I wear it because it evokes positive thoughts and feelings and images, and it conjures up just positivity of being in the summer and being at the beach and having a good time with friends. But again, you know, you really need to open yourself up and make yourself available and aware of the fact that this is not a fragrance that's going to please everyone. So I think once you accept that, you can begin to enjoy this fragrance a lot more, and I think it does require a bit of open-mindedness. So guys, thank you so much for watching. That was my review of Coney Island by Bond number 9. If you own or have tried this fragrance, leave a comment down below. If you own or have tried any of these 2 fragrances as well, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to shoot me a message. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos and frequent giveaways. So again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Stephen with another fragrance review from Red Essence. See you soon.